say. Some people call me the crooked cause my mind ain't straight. Leave my 15, here I am, it ain't safe to come outside again. For the record, fuck everybody, ain't got no friend. Nigga, remember how you treated bro when bro had no wins. And I won't stop, fuck with me, I promise I'ma make you breathe and stop. I keep on with my Glock cock, living on the edge till I'm dead, screaming fuck the cops. I keep on, and I won't stop. Fuck with me, I promise I'ma make you breathe and stop. I keep on, and I won't stop. Fuck with me, I promise I'ma make you breathe and keep on, and I won't stop. Fuck with me, I promise I'ma make you breathe and stop. I keep on with my Glock cock, living on the edge till I'm dead, screaming keep on, and I won't stop. Fuck with me, I promise I'ma make you breathe and stop. I keep on with my Glock cock, living on the edge till I'm dead, screaming fuck the cops. I keep on, and I won't stop. Fuck with me, I promise.
What it do, baby? We're back, dude. We're gonna do the Dana White Contender Series breakdown. Last week, pretty good. You know, we went 9-2 on the UFC 240. We won the Parlay of the Week on UFC 240. We won the Parlay of the Week for Dana White Contender Series. And we're going to be looking to repeat that again this week so we can, get back on a streak again. So, with the first fight of the night on the Dana White Contender Series is Michael Maternick against Rodrigo Nascimento Ferreira. And to open the card, it's two heavyweights, and they're both coming off long layoffs. Maternick, he hasn't fought since July of 2018, while Nascimento, he hasn't fought since November of 2017. So, long time for both these guys. And Nascimento, he was scheduled to fight twice last year on Dana White Contender Series, and both times he was denied a visa. I guess he's gotten that resolved now, so he's going to be fighting this week. And Martinek, he looks like a half-decent heavyweight. He can move. He has pretty good stand-up, strong takedowns. He's light on his feet for a big guy. He bounces in and out of range. Good jabs, a decent left hook, and he has a nice counter left hook for sure. Nice round kicks to the legs, to the body. And he usually move around, land a few shots, explode in with the punch combination, then go for the takedowns. And he gets a majority of his takedowns in the clinch with lateral throws, lateral drops. I mean, really goes back to that a lot. And he has some decent double legs as well. Also catches kicks fairly well. And on top, he likes to work to dominant positions, good back takes. He likes to beat opponents up with short shots from half guard, then move to side control and just slow cook guys. It looks like he's heavy on top. Opponents definitely seem uncomfortable with this top pressure. And he's a decent scrambler as well. I've seen his back taken and showed a bit questionable defense on the rear naked choke, but eventually he turned in. He took top position. He has solid cardio, and overall I think he's a good fighter for heavyweight. He does hold his hands low. That could put him in danger of getting knocked out, especially in the UFC. As to now, though, he's undefeated. He's finished 6 of his 7 opponents, 5 knockouts, 1 rear naked choke. Neither fighter has faced great competition, but if I had to say who's had a better resume so far in their career, I would say it's been Maternick. But this guy, Nascimento, man, he's super athletic. He's a beast. For all I said about Maternick's movement, I think Nascimento moves better. Nascimento's very tall, and the fights I've seen of him, he's fought much shorter opponents. So he's going to be fighting a similar sized guy in this fight, so that's going to be a new wrinkle for him. I haven't seen all his fights, so I don't know if he's fought guys that have had decent size farther in some fights that I haven't seen or whatever. But he looks like he has good leg kicks, good jab, left hook, nasty body kicks. And he's explosive, man. You'll explode forward with punching combinations, solid at slipping and ripping. Throws these wide hooks where he can kind of land him from far away, and he definitely has a long reach. I would, reckon that he has the longer reach here than Maternick. He has good takedowns, and he's good for a good jiu-jitsu player for sure. I'm not sure what his belt rank is, but I would guess he's a black belt. I would say he has some of the better jiu-jitsu in the heavyweight division potentially. Looks fluid on top or on bottom. He'll throw up triangles, arm bars, good leg locks. I haven't seen him on his back in MMA though, only in BJJ, so that will change it up a lot if he gets put on his back. But, from what I've seen, he's fluid off of his back, very comfortable. On top, though, he's heavy, man. You'll get the mount, the hard ground and pound, good back takes, good rear naked chokes. He'll get a high mount attack with arm bars, good arm triangles, 4 submissions. And when he gets on top of opponents, the fights are, usually over. He's finished all 6 of his pro wins. And I think this is a fight between two fighters who could campaign already in the UFC. I think that Maternik is going to be the aggressor, especially early. I see him using his leg kicks, trying to draw punches from Nascimento and counter. In this fight, in the fights I watched Nascimento, he was using his height as a defense a lot, along with his reach on the feet. And he isn't going to have that luxury here, even though I think he is going to have the longer reach. But I think Nascimento is just faster, more explosive, more dangerous. I think when Maternik tries to take him down, he may be successful. But I see him getting threatened with subs off his back. I also see Nascimento stopping a lot of the takedowns and maybe reversing the top position later in the fight. I think this fight will be playing out competitively. I think Maternik maybe even winning round 1 with some striking, a takedown. But I think in round 2, Rodrigo's going to come out fresher, moving, landing. Ultimately, I think he's going to get a panic shot out of Maternik, get top position, finish the fight. So I'm going to say he takes the mount and gets a TKO in round 2. So my pick's going to be Rodrigo Nascimento there. And up next here we have a really good fight, probably my favorite fight on the card. It's Daniel Rodriguez taking on Rico Farrington. And, both these guys are very big for 170, but Rico, he's 6'4", 79-inch reach, so really, really big and long for the division. And he's won 6 consecutive fights. He started his career 1-2, but he hasn't lost since then. And he hasn't fought since December 15th, 2017. So it's been a while since he's fought. And Daniel Rodriguez, he's 8-1. He's finished all 8 of his wins. And his one loss was a split decision to Victor Reina, who appeared on the Dana White Contender Series earlier this summer. This fight should be a banger, though, man. Rico Farrington, he's going to be the faster, more athletic guy. He's fast with his straight punches, his left hook, straight right hand. Really only uses those strikes, though. I mean, he uses the 1-2, the left hook, straight right. But he's very fast. He's explosive. He'll keep heavy pressure, walk opponents down, pull counter. Big power, long reach, and he has the ability to slip and rip, and it makes fighters hesitant to throw. You'll start to walk him down, boss the fight. And he definitely has an attitude in the cage. He'll talk shit. He'll call opponents on. Try to make him sloppy where he can capitalize, basically. And to me, his defense is not the best, though. He has bad tall man defense. He backs up a lot. His chin is right in the air. And at times he can get wild, closing the distance, hands down, chin up. I've seen him stun and hurt with shots in fights. He's also heavy on his lead leg. His countering makes up for a lot of that, but eventually I do see him getting knocked out. I haven't seen much of Farrington's grappling. Rico's more of a volume fighter, though. He doesn't have a lot of power in his punches, but he has 3 TKOs. He's been TKO'd 1 time against Michael Graves, who is a UFC veteran. And he's coming off a knee injury. This is his first fight since then, and he does have good cardio. He can keep a high pace from what I've seen. Daniel Rodriguez, he's a good striker himself, man. He has nice boxing, hits hard. I would say he has better movement entering the pocket, and I think he's going to have to get inside. He's been training at the BMF Ranch, so definitely probably getting some good sparring in there. And he has one-punch power, man. When he lands, opponents feel it. You could see their eyes get real wide, and they don't like getting hit by this guy. But he likes to use his jab to back fighters up, close the distance with overhands, hooks, uppercuts. Nice body work with his punches. He'll mix in kicks, nice leg and body kicks. He'll go up to the head with kicks, round kicks, solid spinning kicks as well. He'll try to throw those to stop opponents from circling off the cage. Solid hand speed, but not the same level of Farrington. He likes to back opponents up with front kicks. He has really a nasty left hook, right straight combination. And his short range power is dangerous. He'll land short hooks, uppercuts that rattle opponents. And you'll see him, like I said, the eyes will get real wide. He has some one-punch knockouts. Great cardio. He keeps heavy pressure. He backs opponents up well. He'll mix in knees to the body, to the head. He can slip and rip. And he's going to be the physically stronger fighter. I feel he has solid jiu-jitsu. I don't see him looking for takedowns, really, unless he's getting outclassed on the feet. He has 5 knockouts, 3 submissions. This is a good fight, man. But I'm actually going to pick Daniel Rodriguez. I feel he'll probably be the underdog. But I think Farrington is hittable. I think Farrington may be looking good, but I think Rodriguez is going to mix in some leg kicks and eventually land a big shot that hurts Farrington. I think he's going to work the body, slip and rip, put pressure on Rico. And Rodriguez hits really hard, man. I just see him landing, hurting Rico. And my pick's going to be Rodriguez via second round KO in a war. So my pick's going to be Daniel Rodriguez to get it done there. And up next here we have a female fight between Maria Agapova, and she's Kazakhstan's #1 fighter. She's going to be making her first trip to the U.S. here, and she's going to be taking on Tracy Cortez. And for Agapova, she's 6-0. She's defeated some decent competition. Her last match, she traveled to China. She took on an 8-2 Chinese fighter and took her out by KO. But when I watched that fight, the Chinese fighter was not very impressive to me. She has came and trained at American Top Team for the last 3 weeks of her camp, so she's putting a lot into this. She's definitely taking it seriously. She hasn't fought in a year, though. I'm not sure why, but she looks like a tough fighter. Good jiu-jitsu. She kind of has a weird but effective style on the feet. She's heavy-handed. She's willing to take one to give one. She's long, and she throws these long casting hooks. She has a good jab, good one too, but she throws a lot of wide hooks. She'll throw a jab-hook combination. She's willing to brawl. And she's effective when she starts her combinations with her left hook. She has some, solid front side kicks to the body. And she has power in the exchanges, man. Usually when fighters get hit, they want to try to grab a hold of her. And she's definitely hittable. She doesn't have great defense, but her chin looks very good. So she's kind of like a brawler on the feet. And she's, has the power to knock you out and could take a shot. So that's always dangerous. But she could use her reach much better. She crashes the distance with a lot of her punches. She's very wild. She'll allow opponents to clinch up with her, land unnecessary shots, and she's slow. But Agapova really isn't an active seeker of the takedown. A problem I've identified with Agapova, if she can't get her back off the cage in the clinch, fighters can control her there. She doesn't have much offense, and she can be taken down by body locks. But she's very good off her back. She's tricky with her guard. She'll attack triangles, arm bars. She scrambles very well on bottom. She's very good at using the cage to lock in submissions or sweep. And when she gets top position, that's where she's really nasty. She has great guard passing ability. She'll posture up inside the guard even, or half guard, and rain down brutal ground and pound. She'll stand up in the guard and likes to throw the legs to the side, land big punches. And when she fought this girl, Lilia Kazak, she was controlled on the mat for periods of time, out-muscled. She isn't the strongest physically, and she should think about getting, a strength and conditioning program if she doesn't have one already. But she does have very good cardio. She pushes the pace. She's 22 years old, and should be improving quickly. She hasn't fought in a year. Could come back looking much improved, and I think that she definitely has good potential. But not sure if she's like very high level yet. But Cortez, she's a fighter coming out of Fight Ready MMA and Fitness. Henry Cejudo trains there, a lot of good guys. And she's won 5 in a row, man, after she lost her MMA debut. And she's fought in respectable organizations, Combate Americas, Invicta. And she's the more athletic fighter, more technical with her striking, her wrestling, her clinch control. She's going to have a big speed advantage on the feet. She uses a lot of lateral movement. She'll blitz in with punch combinations or takedown attempts. She has a good jab to the head, to the body, fast 1-2, good left hook, straight right hand combo. She's good at landing the 1-2s, then closing the distance with hook combinations. And she does a good job, ducking, rolling with punches, coming over the top, and then using that to disguise her level changes on the double. And she has a very good double also. She's even decent striking, moving backwards. She'll stick opponents with jabs, with straight punches. Good timing. She'll blitz in with her left hook, front knees to the body, elbows, kind of stop opponents in their tracks. She's definitely more of a grappler, though. She shoots a lot of takedowns. Her striking defense isn't the best. When she throws kicks, she'll leave her chin high, right on center line. She also doesn't always bring her hands back to her chin after she throws punches. And I've seen her get hit with some clean punches. In the fight that she lost, she got stunned with some punches before she was submitted. And she doesn't seem to like getting hit much to me. But she doesn't have great power either. She has no standing knockouts. She's never been finished by strikes, and she's definitely improving her striking. In her last match, she was throwing a lot more fakes, feints, better footwork, better defense. She has a very good double leg and body lock. She's very active with the wrestling and her control against the cage. She, almost exclusively looks for takedowns. She likes to push opponents to the cage, control the far wrist, land knees to the body, elbow, short punches to the head. And I think in this fight, she needs to have periods of clinch control against the cage. She should be the stronger, more active fighter there, control the position. And on top, she's good but not great, man. She has solid top control, and she can pass the guard, and she's aggressive. She'll get the crucifix position and side control. She likes to get the mount, decent back takes. But she can get too high in the guard, get reversed. She can get too aggressive looking for the back and get swept. And she puts herself in a lot of positions to be submitted. Like, she was in a deep armbar in her last fight. So she kind of has a little bit of deficiencies in the jiu-jitsu, but when she can get her hooks in on the back, she gets that body triangle in, she has good control, she'll flatten opponents out, good ground and pound. She also hang in opponents' guards and look for ground and pound there, but like I said, her submission defense is a little bit questionable, and not her submission defense, but just getting put in submission. She was caught in an armbar for the majority of the first round in her last fight. She is patient. She won't do anything stupid to be submitted, but she could lose rounds through that. Her takedown defense is good. She has great get-ups off her back. She's good at using feet on the hips to stand up. Good balance when defending takedowns, and she likes to try to take the back with switches. She'll go for Camur sweeps as well. And she was taken down in the third round of her last match, though, controlled on the ground. She was mounted. She almost got caught in an arm triangle. And she showed some heart surviving to win the decision, because she easily could have looked for a way out there. She was eventually able to scramble back to her feet, and she went for it at the end of the round, which is something you like to see. She's a dog, man. She has that Mexican heart for sure. But she seems to get tired in round 3, really slows down. And in her one loss, she got kind of guillotined in the clinch. She got submitted. I think Cortez is going to try to move, use her speed to catch Maria as she throws wide, closing the distance, then try to grapple her. I think she'll try to control against the fence, get takedowns late, and she just has to be careful not to get swept or submitted. This is a close fight, but I see Cortez getting the win if she doesn't get finished. She needs to use her striking, her clinch control. When she gets takedown, she needs to just play it safe, use control. I would say to get takedowns late in the rounds when there's not as much chance of being swept or submitted, and just use it to seal the round off. But my pick is going to be Cortez via submission here. And up next here we have the co-main event with Stephen Nguyen taking on Alon Cruz. And Nguyen is entering this fight coming off a title fight victory. He didn't fight someone very high level, but he got that 5-round main event experience. And he's went to train at Fortis MMA for this fight. He's undefeated. He's 6-0. For Alon Cruz, he's won 3 in a row. He's 7-2. He's the veteran here. He's definitely fought the tougher competition. And Cruz, he looks long. He looks like a decent striker, but not the best. He does try to work behind straight punches, 1-2s, long hooks. He's a southpaw. Good right hook. He'll throw jabs to roundhouse kicks, jabs, front knees, front kicks. So he's tricky, decent step-in knees, but he's flat-footed. He's not very fast, and he's very hittable. He allows opponents to dictate where the fight takes place, usually, and the pace. He'll allow himself to get backed up easily. But he's a big guy. He's 6 feet tall. He needs to learn how to use his reach a little bit better. He isn't a power puncher. He likes to grapple more than strike. He has one career TKO via doctor stoppage. But Cruz doesn't shoot many takedowns, and I actually have seen him taken down a lot. He's good at using his length to stand up, sweep, or reverse position in a clinch, and he tires guys out there by continuously just making them work, standing back up, and just, being busy. Good trips and decent chain wrestling against the cage. When he's taken down, good get-ups, but he gives his back trying to stand up, and he's been submitted 2 times by rear naked. He will attack in the guard with triangles, arm bars, but if you put him on his back, he isn't high level to me. He's alright off his back, but not elite. He's decent on top. He has okay top pressure. He'll try to use his link to get front chokes or force you to give your back. And when he takes the back, he has good rear naked chokes. He has a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. And he has 2 submissions. But he's been more of a decision fighter through his career. He has good cardio. Picks up as the fight goes on. He isn't the best athlete, so he needs to wear on opponents a bit, let him get tired, and then he can start to implement his game better. But he has 3 finishes, 4 wins via decision. And both of his losses have come by way of the rear naked choke. For Stephen Nguyen, man, he's a big featherweight himself, and this is going to be probably the first time in his career he's fighting someone taller than him, but it isn't substantial. He's 5'11", Cruz is 6 feet tall, but Cruz does look to have a long reach. I think he may have a couple inches there. I'm not sure what either of these guys' reaches are, though, but to me that won't really matter because I see Nguyen going forward, controlling the center, and Nguyen has nice hands, fast 1-2s, powerful hooks. He'll throw a right hook, left hook combination with big power, and he has a powerful overhand right. Nguyen has nice kicks, also body head kicks, spinning kicks. He'll attack the body with punches, good flying knees, and he's a solid grappler. In this fight, I see him trying to defend takedowns, make Cruz pay in the clinch, disengage. But he has nice knees to the body, elbows to the head in the clinch. He'll use a front choke to attack with knees to the head, and also, if he feels like he can get it, he doesn't really jump on it in the guard, but he'll snap opponents down and go for it. He has solid takedown defense, and he's decent off his back. He was able to get out of mount, get back to full guard, threaten with an omoplata, and stand up against a black belt in his last fight. I just feel Nguyen is going to be ready to go here. He's training at Fortis. I see him going forward, landing the tighter punches, defending the takedowns. I think in the clinch, Nguyen will do damage, and I think he's the better wrestler, man. I think he can get takedowns of his own and win those positions. I don't see Nguyen getting taken down. He has solid cardio, and won his fight via KO in round 4 in his last fight, so he can carry that power into the championship rounds. He has 2 guillotines and a rear naked choke, 2 TKOs, and my pick's going to be Nguyen via second round TKO here, but I think this is a fairly close fight. And up next we have the main event here. 2 guys at 205, Aleska Camur taking on Fabio Charant. And Alexa, he's the training partner of Stipe Miocic. He trains at Strong Style Fight Team. And he's young. He's 23 years old. He's only been a pro a little under 2 years. He's 4-0 with 4 knockout wins, all in the first round. The longest fight he's been in is 2 minutes and 43 seconds. And so, he also hasn't fought the greatest competition. In his last 2 matches, he's seen a small step up. But, he's not very tenured yet. He defeated a fighter who was 4-1 in his last fight. He's a good boxer, though, man. You could tell that was probably his first sport. Great hand speed, shot selection, really good jab. He'll throw it out there with no tell. Really nice 1-2. He'll mix in uppercuts, hooks after it. Very good at slipping and ripping. And, he sits opponents down with counters. Really good counter left hook, counter uppercut, and good head movement. He'll walk opponents down. He's athletic. When he's landed on his opponents this far, they've crumbled, man. They haven't been able to take that power. So, we're going to have to see how he performs against someone if they can take his power and bring him into the later rounds. But he looks like a fairly one-dimensional fighter. Doesn't throw kicks really. Doesn't look for takedowns much. I've seen him get a trip takedown, show some decent ground and pound. So I don't want to say he's one-dimensional actually, but definitely prefers to box. He finished his fight with ground and pound effectively though. When he drops opponents, he'll go in for the kill. I haven't seen his takedown defense really tested or how he is off his back. I have seen him hit with some shots, but never really threatened or hit with anything, hard on the feet. None of his opponents have really gained his respect yet with their striking. So, he hasn't been extended far enough to discuss his cardio or pace really either. All we know now is he starts fast, he finishes fights. He isn't crazy though, he fights composed. And I like what I see. He's going to be taking on a fighter here who's a grappler, so I'll probably see how he handles it. And I do rate his boxing. I think he has good hands, especially for 205. Fabio Charant, he's training out of a good gym himself, Team Sit-Ya-Dong in Boston. He's 24, 4-0 record. And he's been a pro an even shorter amount of time than Camur. He's only been a pro a little bit less than a year and a half. And 4 finishes, all submissions. But, he's truly fought all cans. The combined record of his opponents are 2-9. The last opponent he defeated was 0-0. And from what I saw Charant, I just wasn't super impressed. He looks like a solid athlete, but not spectacular. Looks like he has a decent straight right hand. He likes to move a lot, but he throws a lot of wide shots. He does look like he has decent power, and he'll throw more than one when he connects, but he doesn't have one-punch knockout power. Doesn't have any knockouts in his career. Seems to struggle with movement, forward pressure. He'll give up the center of the cage. And if fighters can hit an angle, he whiffs a lot on his counters. I think he's going to struggle with the forward pressure, the movement, the speed of Camur. And Camur's just much tighter, much sharper with his punches, in my opinion. Charant will occasionally throw front kicks, oblique kicks, but isn't a great kicker. And from what I've seen, he's definitely the lesser striker here. I don't think his defense backing up is very effective. He'll shell up. He doesn't have great movement. But he is dangerous in the clinch. He'll threaten with guillotine standing. He's confident in jump guard to try to finish. Doesn't look elite though. It can be very sloppy the way he sets it up. And he isn't the greatest wrestler. He doesn't shoot many takedowns from space. And, I've actually seen his opponents usually initiate the grappling exchanges. He will go for double legs when he has his opponents against the cage. His last 2 fights, he's gotten taken down. He's gotten takedowns, moved to mount the back, and finished the fight. But if he can get a takedown, he's going to be in good shape, but I'm not sure he can. You know, I can't emphasize enough the level of competition Sharan is fighting. None of his opponents he's defeated have won a fight since losing to him. None of the 4 guys. And Sharan's one amateur scene loss in 2016 was to a fighter who was 2-8, and he fought that same opponent in his last fight. So it's like he's fighting a guy who's 2-8 as an amateur. He's, I think, 0-2 as a pro. When you're 3-0, I mean, what's the point? I mean, I get it's a trilogy. He beat him as an amateur as well. So they fought. He lost in the first fight as an amateur to this Ron Marshall guy. Then they fought again. He beat him, finished him, and then he finished him again in his last fight. So it's like, I don't know why you're taking that kind of fight. You should be building up, you know. But I just see Camur using his forward pressure, angles, boxing to get an early knockout. I see him being the significantly better striker. And it isn't as if Sharan's an elite wrestler. As long as Camur works behind his straight punches and long shots, stays composed, he should avoid the grappling altogether. Don't even go for takedowns or in the clinch. Don't give him an opportunity to catch something. And I'm going to say Camur gets a first-round knockout in this fight. So the pick's going to be Aleska Camur here. And my most confident pick of the night for this card is going to be Aleska Camur to get the win. And for the parlay of the week, I'm going to say Alexa Camur and Daniel Rodriguez. I'm pretty confident in Rodriguez, man. I just think he's going to break Rico. And I have a feeling he might be an underdog. So this could be a good parlay. And if he's an underdog, guys, don't parlay him. If he's an underdog, just bet him straight, because you never really want to parlay underdogs. So, yeah, if he's an underdog, just bet on Daniel Rodriguez, and I'll come back and maybe give you guys another parlay. But I don't really... The other guy I might play is Stephen Nguyen, maybe Tracy Cortez, but don't trust those guys nearly as much. So, you know, that's going to be what I'm going to say for now. And I'm just going to talk about a couple of the fights from UFC 240. We're not going to get too much into it, but, you know, there's a few performances that were very good. You know, Eric Koch at 170, he was able to go in there and get a win. So that was fun to see. It wasn't really the most fun fight, but I feel like we broke that fight down very well, because he got a lot of body lock takedowns, which, you know, I was saying could be very effective for him. And, you know, he just tired out the bigger guy and got the victory there. So good job there by Eric Koch to get the win. Jillian Robertson finishing Sarah Frota. A lot of people were on Sarah Frota this week. I stayed with Jillian Robertson. She got the finish by TKO, man. I mean, that was pretty impressive. She dominated a black belt on the ground, a Pan Am champion. So great job there by Robertson. She has 4 finishes, the most finishes in flyweight history. So should be getting a ranked opponent. Probably will be ranked in her next fight. And up next year, the fight of the night, in my opinion, Deiveson Figueiredo against Alejandro Pantoja. And I was wrong about this one, man. I mean, Deiveson showed up real tuned up for this fight. He looked great, man. His striking was on another level, in my opinion, than any of his other UFC fights. And he tagged Pantoja. Pantoja was just too stubborn in this fight, man. It was the, you know, the thing that we thought could happen, where, like I said, Pantoja likes getting these wars. He likes to plant his feet in return when he gets hit. He gets emotional. And that's what happened. He was winning the whole second round, in my opinion, and, you know, got emotional when he got hit, tried to brawl with him, got dropped the last 15 seconds. Deiveson stole the round, and that completely changed how the, you know, how he fought in the third round. He fought very aggressive. He was getting tagged up, and, you know, if that was going 1-1, he could have fought a different style in the third round. But, you know, I was very impressed with Deiveson's takedown defense. He really looks like he's improving, man, so got to give props to Deiveson. That guy has big power for 125. I mean, when he lands on these guys, they could feel it. But props to Pantoja, man. I mean, the guy at the end of the fight, even though for all the damage Pantoja was taking, the guy at the end of the fight that was coming forward, that was putting the pressure on, that was hurting Deiveson, was Pantoja. So, I mean, Pantoja hurt him in like the last 10 seconds of the fight. So, you know, it was a great fight by both guys, but clear win for Deiveson. And, you know, he's probably in that number 1 contender position now, right? After Joe B fights for the title. So big win there for Deiveson Figueiredo. And then Gavin Tucker, I was wrong about this, was the other one that I was incorrect about. He came in there, he got the win on Sungwoo Choi. And man, I mean, it was a good fight. I thought Choi was going to win the decision, and then you know, Gavin got the submission. So good job by Gavin Tucker to dig deep, get the win there. But, you know, still not extremely high on Tucker. And man, I guess I was wrong about Choi. I really thought that he had potential. I thought he was going to come into the UFC and make some noise, man. But 0-2 now. Just got finished, so he'll probably get another opportunity, I would assume, but not a good start to his career for him. Keem Dawodu got the win over Yoshinari Horii. Not really much to say about this fight. I thought that the first 2 rounds were debatable, man, and if you bet on Dawodu, you're probably a little nervous, but that head kick was nasty. He finished him off with that big head kick, took him out. So props to Keem, man. I mean, since that stumble in his first UFC fight, he's came in, he's won 3 in a row, got his first finish now, and probably should get a ranked opponent next, I would say. I think he deserves it. And Horii showed some good things. He showed flashes, and he has an awkward game plan. He has an awkward style, and he's probably going to win some fights in the UFC, I would imagine. Up next, this was part of our Parlay of the Week, and it was the most confident pick, Viviane Araújo taking on Alexis Davis, and I thought she cruised in this fight. Dominant win here for Viviane. She was too fast, man. She was teeing on Davis. Davis's face looked really beat up after the fight. I mean, it was nasty, man. But Viviane's a beast, man. I mean, she was piecing her up, catching her as she was coming in. And Alexis Davis is a dog, man. She could take shots, come forward. She doesn't care. And in that second round, Viviane landed that nice takedown, but Alexis swept, took top position, and, maybe won that round. I think she won the round. So, great job from Alexis there to sweep a girl like Viviane and do that and get some top control. But Viviane was able to survive there and really beat her up in the first and the third round. So clear victory there for Araújo. And, she's looking like a very good prospect in the division. Jocko against Barriault. We predicted it correctly. Jocko won the fight. Not really have much to say about that. Good win for Jocko there. Sarukian, he was another part of the Parlay of the Week, and he cashed for us. Very, pretty comprehensive win against OAM, man. I thought he dominated that fight. He was the better grappler. He stayed on him. OAM just couldn't get him off him, man, and he was taking him down. He was controlling him. OAM was landing, some nice knees. He landed some nice body kicks, but just didn't have enough, in my opinion. And, our man took it to him, and our man wanted it more than him. So our man got the win there. And, hell yeah, man. Cash for the Parlay of the Week. And 1-1 in the UFC now. You beat a top 25, top 30 guy at 22 years old. So really excited for this guy's progression and what he does in the sport. So great job there for Arman Sarukian. And Jeff Neal gets Nico Price, man. Did not disappoint here. We had a double knockdown in this fight. Both guys got hurt. But Jeff Neal outlasted him, man, and Jeff Neal took him out. The knockdown was off a headbutt, but that was crazy. They both got knocked down. They were both hurt. Jeff Neal says he doesn't even remember the last 10 seconds of the round, so definitely really got stung there. And, Nico was landing some shots, but Jeff Neal was largely controlling the fight. He was landing the big shots. You could see that Nico was really feeling it. And once he got him to the ground, he was just a step above on the ground, man, which is impressive because, Nico's a decent grappler, but Jeff Neal got on top of him, rained down that ground and pound, and Nico could do nothing about it, man. And couldn't control posture, couldn't stop the punches from coming, and he wasn't knocked out. He was really pissed when they stopped the fight. Not like pissed saying it was bad stoppage, but just frustrated with himself. And, but yeah, he couldn't get out of position, and Jeff Neal finished the fight. So great job by Jeff Neal there to get the win. And co-main event, Christina Cyborg, she took out Felicia Spencer, man. And Spencer is tough as shit. I was giving Spencer a lot of shit, man. So I gotta, eat a little bit of crow here because when she came into the UFC, when she fought against Megan Anderson, I picked Anderson via first round knockout. And I was talking about how I didn't think Spencer was good at all. I thought she sucked. Terrible striking, And then when she fought Chris Cyborg, again, I picked first round knockout. And, man, she's a lot tougher than I thought. She's a lot bigger than I thought, man. She looked decently sized in there against Cyborg. She was landing those nice elbows, those Superman elbows. She's first person to ever cut Cyborg in her career, and she took a lot of shots, man. I think people are overblowing a little bit, like saying it was a close fight or the best. I saw Chael Sonnen say it was the best female fight of all time. It was pretty one-sided, man. to me, she was getting dominated in the fight. She landed a few shots here and there, but it was really her toughness that shone through, where she was eating some bombs, very stoic. When she was getting hit, she wasn't panicking. She wasn't, looking nervous. She was executing her game plan as well, getting in the clinch, controlling. But Cyborg was just too good. Cyborg was too fast, too explosive, better striker, and just dominated the fight. Really beat Felicia up, to be honest with you. But after the fight, she was right into a promotion mode. She was wearing that Cyborg versus Nunes 2, January 2020. And sign me up, man. I mean, it looks like they're going to have a lot of problems in negotiations. If I had to guess, man, to be honest, I kind of feel like we might see Cyborg over there kicking it in Bellator, fighting like Julia Budd, girls like that. But, hopefully the allure, the money that fight could generate, if the fans really want it, I think maybe she could sign again. But, I feel like she has a really bad relationship with the UFC, man. I mean, even last night, Dana is still not throwing shots at her, but talking about, some fighters, they want to fight lesser competition when they get later in their career. And, I don't blame him. So he's almost saying, like, Cyborg might be running from the UFC type thing, which, I don't believe that at all. But, Chris Cyborg was able to go in there and get the win, and hopefully she could fight Amanda Nunes. But if not, if she goes to Bellator, I'm still going to be following her career. She's a legend. She's a great fighter, and she always brings it. So, good win for Cyborg there. And then up next to the main event, Max Holloway, Frankie Edgar. And, I actually thought this fight was going to be a little more competitive than it was. Frankie Edgar, I thought he won the first round. That's a debatable round. A lot of people, 2 judges gave 5-0 for Max, which, I can't argue that. I thought the 4th round was fairly close as well, but Max won that round. But, Frankie just couldn't get out. He did a good job. I don't want to completely shit on the performance from Frankie, because he did a good job with his movement. He didn't get overwhelmed like these guys that you saw, like Ortega's and these Anthony Pettis's. But, he was elusive enough to land some shots. But, I thought he was going to be a lot more grappling heavy, man. He didn't go for many takedowns. It seemed like he was content to keep it on the feet and just wasn't having much success. He was getting pieced up. He got hurt. The only time he got a takedown was when he got desperate because he was getting rocked. And he really went for it. He got him down. So I don't know why he didn't do that more often, because the one time he really went hard for the double, he got the double. He was constantly going for single legs as well, which I feel like he should have switched it up and started going for the double leg. But, Max Holloway was just a level above him, man. He beat him up, dominated the fight, showed why he's, the best featherweight in the world right now. So Max Holloway was able to get another notch on his belt, came back after that loss to Poirier, looking great. So, the Blessed Express is on the run. It's still going in full force. And, so I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm going to be doing the breakdown for UFC on ESPN 5. I'm really excited for that fight, especially that card, especially the main event, man. But, so we're going to have another good week this week. We talked to the Do Existence last week. We hit both the parlays. Went, very good percentage on the picks. So that's what's going to happen again this week. We're going to keep crushing it. We're going to keep going forward. So, let's have fun watching these fights on Tuesday. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Comment, like, subscribe on the video.